What's up everybody, it's Sean here and I'm back today to give you guys a review of the Adidas Crazy Boosty Wear in the Sesame colorway. First off, a huge thank you goes out to Adidas Canada. They sent me not only this pair, but also in this black and purple colorway as well. Between the two, I do have a slight preference for the Sesame colorway, which is why I'm going to be reviewing this colorway today. So these guys right here, they retail for $150 US or $200 here in Canada. The official colorway for this shoe is Sesame, Light Granite, and Chalk Coral. So before we jump into the shoe, let's rewind a bit and give you guys a little bit of a history lesson. So back in 1996, Adidas debuted the Feet You Wear technology. So before Nike Free even debuted, this was the original pioneer for footwear innovation towards a more natural feeling ride. So among all the shoes in the line, one common element that we saw was each of the shoes featured these distinct pods that would allow the shoe to bend and flex more naturally, making it feel much more natural and much more comfortable for the wearer. So fast forward to present day, and Adidas has adopted that concept of Feet You Wear, but incorporated modern day technology, specifically Boost, into the sneakers, calling it Boosty Wear or BYW. So as for these shoes right here, I believe they draw inspiration from the classic sneaker, the Adidas Crazy 8. This shoe, however, is a lifestyle sneaker and is not meant to be worn on the court. So without further ado, let me give you guys a closer look at these shoes. So the majority of the upper is constructed using this very soft, very premium feeling suede. This suede essentially covers the bottom half of the entire upper, and then surrounding this toe box area, here we have this thick stitch running throughout. On the lateral side of the mid panel, here we have this light graphite suede, and it has this texturized effect to it, giving it the appearance of corduroy. Flipping it over to the medial side, so on this side, here we have another piece of that gray suede. On this side, this does not have those diagonal lines running throughout. And then overlaid on top of this, here we have this TPU plate that wraps around from the bottom of the shoe, giving you added support around the midfoot. Joined together by this thick black stitching, the upper portion of the shoe is constructed using mesh. This mesh has a bit of a rougher feel to it, and it's much more stiff and firm compared to the suede below it. At the base of the forefoot where the eyelets are, here we have this elastic bungee cord that helps to contain your foot into place. Running along the black stitching, we have these 3 black eyelets. As for the laces, so these come with very thin rope style laces. It's also done in the same tonal Sesame color. Underneath the laces we have the tongue, so this is a padded suede tongue which has the Adidas logo on the top embroidered in black. Onto the back heel, you can see how this shoe has a bit of an odd shape. So instead of curving inwards or at least straight, this shoe actually curves outwards, which in my opinion looked a little bit off. And then connected to the back heel, we have another really thin rope. This time it's done in this coral color. And I suppose this is supposed to be like a heel pull tab, but I suspect that this could potentially rip off if you pull it with enough force. So moving on to the interior of the shoe. So as for the insoles, so these come with a tan colored insole. We have this crazy branding on the heel, along with BYW, which stands for Boosty Wear, and Adidas Advanced 9818. So the upper of these crazy BYWs sits atop this podular Boosty Wear midsole. So essentially what this is 3 distinct and 3 separate pieces of boost. So there's one underneath the heel and then 2 underneath the forefoot that's split in half. Again, as I mentioned earlier in the review, this is supposed to give you more of a natural feeling ride, and it's supposed to bend and flex more naturally with your feet. So the bottom pod and the middle pod are covered in white colored rubber, and then the top pod is colored in this coral colored rubber, giving it a nice additional pop. At the very front of this coral pod, you can see there's this little icon. So this face was actually made famous from the original Feet You Wear campaigns back in the 90s. So this is a nice little touch, throwing that little icon on as a nod to the inspiration behind these shoes. From a sizing standpoint, so my feet measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side, and Adidas Canada sent me these guys in a size 10. So I do have to say these do fit a little bit strange. I definitely would recommend you try them on in store if you can first. Overall, I'd say that they run a little bit on the bigger side. If I put my feet all the way to the back heel, there's a little bit more than a thumb's width of space from the edge of my toe to the edge of the shoe. With that said though, the bungee cord right here does constrict the shoe quite tightly around my midfoot, so I did feel a little bit discomfort around this area right here. Personally, I would have preferred if this cord right here wasn't quite as tight, or if they had simply replaced it from here and moved it onto the sides of the tongue instead. From a comfort standpoint, so these guys are a mixed bag, so I kind of like them and I kind of don't. From an actual cushioning standpoint, these guys are unbelievable. So the boost pods underneath your feet are simply super thick and super plush. They feel a bit similar to the EQT 9317 in that there's a massive amount of boost underneath your feet. However, with the addition of this articulated outsole, at least from a pure cushioning and softness standpoint, I gotta give the nod to these guys. The other thing I didn't like though, aside from this weird strap right here, was the way that my heel fit into the shoe. So for some reason, the heel on these guys was very narrow, and I never really felt like my foot was firmly in place in the shoe. Instead, I could always feel the sides of the shoe kind of collapsing into my heel. So as a result, I didn't really feel like I was locked in, and it didn't really feel that stable. So I definitely recommend trying these on in the store. If you don't really feel that discomfort underneath the heel and across the midfoot, then you're probably gonna like the feel of these shoes if you're looking for something very soft and very well cushioned. One final thing I found was that this mesh material found around this ankle collar area was a little bit rough. So if you wear short or no-show socks, this probably is gonna cut up your foot. So with that said, I highly recommend thicker, high-cut socks if you're gonna be rocking these. So with all that being said, let me lace these up and I'll show you guys how these guys look on feet. Overall, I appreciate the intention that Adidas was going for, incorporating old 90s technology and then updating it with modern day boost, creating what could have been a very comfortable sneaker. However, just being completely transparent with you guys, there was a few things I would have changed to make this shoe much more comfortable, specifically the strap on the midfoot, a more softer upper, and a wider heel platform in the back. If those changes could have been incorporated, then this shoe would have been a clear winner in my books. But until then, I gotta give this shoe a bit of a mixed review. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of these Adidas Crazy BYWs in the Sesame colorway. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a follow on Instagram at esco8, check out my Twitter at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So before we sign off, one final thank you goes out to the great people at Adidas Canada. Thank you guys so much for always showing love and always showing support. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one.